Santa Claus in film. This article needs additional citations for verification. Motion pictures featuring Santa Claus constitute their own subgenre of the Christmas film genre. Early films of Santa revolve around similar simple plots of Santa's Christmas Eve visit to children. In 1897, in a short film called Santa Claus Filling Stockings, Santa Claus is simply filling stockings from his pack of toys. Another film called Santa Claus and the Children was made in 1898. A year later, a film directed by George Albert Smith titled Santa Claus, or The Visit from Santa Claus in the United Kingdom, was created. In this picture, Santa Claus enters the room from the fireplace and proceeds to trim the tree. He then fills the stockings that were previously hung on the mantel by the children. After walking backward and surveying his work, he suddenly darts at the fireplace and disappears up the chimney. Santa Claus's Visit, in 1900, featured a scene with two little children kneeling at the feet of their mother and saying their prayers. The mother tucks the children snugly in bed and leaves the room. Santa Claus suddenly appears on the roof, just outside the children's bedroom window, and proceeds to enter the chimney, taking with him his bag of presents and a little hand sled for one of the children. He goes down the chimney and suddenly appears in the children's room through the fireplace. He distributes the presents and mysteriously causes the appearance of a Christmas tree laden with gifts. The scene closes with the children waking up and running to the fireplace just too late to catch him by the legs. A 1909 film by D.W. Griffith titled A Trap for Santa Claus shows children setting a trap to capture Santa Claus as he descends the chimney, but instead capture their father, who abandoned them, and their mother, but tries to burglarize the house after he discovers that she inherited a fortune. A 29-minute 1925 silent film production titled Santa Claus by explorer and documentarian Frank E. Kleinschmidt, filmed partially in northern Alaska, features Santa Claus in his workshop, visiting his Eskimo neighbors, and tending his reindeer. A year later, another movie titled Santa Claus was produced with sound on DeForest Phonofilm. Over the years, various actors have donned the red suit, aside from those discussed below, including Liam Bantuck in Santa Claus, 1912, Monty Woolley in Life Begins at 8:30, 1942, Alberta Rabagliati in The Christmas That Almost Wasn't, 1966, Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places, 1983, Jan Rubes in One Magic Christmas, 1985, David Huddleston in Santa Claus the Movie, 1985, Jonathan Taylor Thomas in I'll Be Home for Christmas, 1988, and Ed Asner in Elf, 2003. Later films about Santa vary, but can be divided into the following themes shown below. Santa's origins. Some films about Santa Claus seek to explore his origins. They explain how his reindeer can fly, where the elves come from, and other questions that children have generally asked about Santa. 2 Rankin-Bass stop-motion animation television specials addressed this issue. The first, Santa Claus is Comin' to Town, 1970, with Mickey Rooney as the voice of Kris Kringle, reveals how Santa delivered toys to children despite the fact that the evil Burgermeister Meisterburger had forbidden children to play with them. And the second, The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, 1985, based on L. Frank Baum's 1902 children's book of the same name, follows Santa being reared by a collection of mythical creatures who finally grant him immortality. Another animated version of Baum's book was made by Glenn Hill in 2000, and the book also served as the basis for an anime series, Shounen Santa no Daiboken, Young Santa's Adventures, in 1984, and The Oz Kids video, Who Stole Santa, 1996. None of these films focus on Santa's saintly origins. The 1985 feature film Santa Claus the Movie, inspired by the 1978 Superman the Movie, stars David Huddleston as Santa Claus and British actress Judy Cornwell as his wife Anya, shows how Santa and Anya are discovered by a clan of elves called the Vendicum. Dudley Moore portrays Patch, the central character and main focus of the story. Burgess Meredith portrays their wise leader, the Ancient One, who reveals that Claus represents the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy whereby he has been designated as the Chosen One, whose mission it will be to deliver the elves' toys to children all over the world. The film's prologue features Claus and Anya performing Santa-like duties in their home village, and strongly suggests Santa's saintly origins. Questioning and Believing, another genre of Santa Claus films, seeks to dispel doubts about his existence. One of the first films of this nature was titled A Little Girl Who Did Not Believe in Santa Claus, 1907. and involves a well-to-do boy trying to convince his poorer friend that Santa Claus is real. She doubts because Santa has never visited her family because of their poverty. Miracle on 34th Street, 1947, starring Natalie Wood as Susan Walker, revolves around the disbelief of young Susan, whose mother, Maureen O'Hara, employs a kind old man, Edmund Gwen, who won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, to play Santa Claus at Macy's. He later convinces Susan that he really is Santa. One Magic Christmas, 1985, depicts Santa as the Dutch Sinterklaas, in charge of Christmas angels, deceased people, in lieu of elves, whom he assigns to restore individuals' Christmas spirit. He assigns Gideon, Harry Dean Stanton, to a woman, Mary Steenburgen, who worries too much about the practical side of life and shows little charity. Gideon shows her a potential Christmas in which her husband is killed by a desperate bank robber whom she is neglected to help, and takes her little girl to Santa, who gives her the last letter her mother sent him as a child and tells her to give it to her. This works to restore her spirit and gives her a do-over of Christmas with her husband and the desperate man, and she greets Santa putting presents under her tree. The Polar Express, 2004, based on the children's book of the same name, also deals with issues and questions of belief as a magical train conducted by Tom Hanks transports a doubting boy to the North Pole to visit Santa Claus. Yes, Virginia, 2009, is an animated holiday TV special based on the true story of a young girl, Virginia O'Hanlon, who writes a letter to the editor of the New York Sun in 1897 after her friends tell her that there is no Santa. The newspaper editor tells her that indeed there is a Santa. He lives, and he lives forever. Francis Pharcellus Church was the real-life editor, played by Charles Bronson in the special. Santa as a hero. Some science fiction B-movies feature Santa Claus as a superhero-type figure, such as the 1959 film titled Santa Claus, produced in Mexico, with José Elias Moreno as Santa Claus. In this movie, Santa allies with Merlin the magician to battle the devil, who is attempting to trap Santa. In the Cold War-era film Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, 1964, Santa Claus is captured by Martians and brought to Mars, and ultimately foils a plot to destroy him. The Night They Saved Christmas, 1984, starring Art Carney as Santa, likewise chronicles how Santa Claus and Claudia Baldwin, Jacqueline Smith, the wife of an oil explorer, have to save the North Pole from explosions while Baldwin's husband is searching for oil in the Arctic. Santa Claus, the movie, contains a subplot in which Santa Claus rescues Joe, Christian Fitzpatrick, from his best friend Cornelia's, Carrie Kai-Heim, evil step-uncle B.Z., John Lithgow. Santa is a hero in The Nightmare Before Christmas, held captive by Oogie Boogie, although he is spiteful and enraged at Jack when freed. The latest films to depict Santa Claus in such a manner are The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, 2005, and the DreamWorks film Rise of the Guardians, which is based on the book series The Guardians of Childhood by William Joyce. In the Chronicles of Narnia film, Father Christmas, James Cosmo, supplies the Pevensey children with the weapons and tools they need to battle the White Witch, Tilda Swinton. In The Rise of the Guardians, where he is referred to often as North, Alec Baldwin, is shown as one of the main characters and leader of the Guardians, who are the heroes of the movie. In the show South Park, Santa is often depicted with firearms. In the episode Red Sleigh Down, he battles Iraqis to try to bring Christmas to Iraq. In the episode A Woodland Critter Christmas, he uses a combat shotgun to blast away satanic animals who try to give birth to the Antichrist. Santa, played by Nick Frost, made a brief appearance at the end of the Doctor Who episode Death in Heaven. In the following episode, which served as the show's 2014 Christmas special, Last Christmas, he plays a more prominent role. It is eventually revealed that the scenes with him are the characters experiencing a shared dream, and he is their subconscious trying to help them wake up before they are killed. At the episode's end, he successfully awakens the Doctor and Clara, reuniting the two. The 2004 Christmas with the Cranks, based on the 2001 John Grisham novel Skipping Christmas, has Austin Pendleton as Marty, a Santa-dressed umbrella salesman who turns out to be the real Santa. He saves Luther Crank's, Tim Allen's, forced Christmas party by capturing a burglar unintentionally brought to the house by the police. After leaving the party, he rides through the sky in his Volkswagen Beetle, pulled by reindeer. Succession of Santas. One genre of movies suggests that Santa Claus is not historically a single individual, but a succession of individuals. In Ernest Saves Christmas, 1988, Ernest P. Worrell, Jim Varney, joins the challenge of Santa Claus, alias Seth Applegate, Douglas Seal, to convince Florida Kids Show host Joe Carruthers, Oliver Clark, to become the next Santa. In The Santa Claus, 1984, Tim Allen plays Scott Calvin, who accidentally causes Santa Claus to fall off the roof of his house. After he puts on Santa's suit, he finds himself contractually obligated to become the next Santa. Reluctant at first, his appearance changes over the next year from average to the legendary image. He grows fat, his hair whitens, and his beard grows uncontrollably by magic. He ultimately falls in love with his new role. A 2001 television special, Call Me Claus, stars Whoopi Goldberg as Lucy Collins, an African-American woman destined to reluctantly become the next Santa Claus. In The Hebrew Hammer, 2003, the role of Santa Claus is traditionally passed down from father to son. The system is disrupted when the reigning Santa is murdered by his son, Damien, who then uses the position to attack the competing holidays of Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. The 2011 animated film Arthur Christmas portrays being Santa Claus as a dynasty. The first Santa, St. Nicholas, established the North Pole Workshop and passed the title and responsibilities to his son after 70 Christmases, after which his son passed them on to his son, and so on. In the film, the current Santa initially refuses to retire, due to worry about what he will be if he is not Santa. Imposter Santas. Several films have been created to explore the consequences should an imposter Santa take over. One of the first films featuring a fake Santa Claus is the 1914 silent film The Adventure of the Wrong Santa Claus, written by Frederick Arnold Kummer. In this film, a bogus Santa steals all the Christmas presents, and amateur detective Octavius, played by Herbert Yost, tries to recover them. The most notorious imposter appears in the 1966 cartoon based on Dr. Seuss's 1957 children's book, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, wherein the Grinch, a hairy and mean-tempered creature, attempts to rob the Who's and Whoville of their Christmas by stealing their presents, food, and decorations, but has a change of heart when he sees that he has not stopped them from celebrating after all. This animated feature was made into a live-action movie in 2000, directed by Ron Howard, and starring Jim Carrey as the Grinch. A CGI feature film was made in 2018, starring Benedict Cumberbatch as the voice of the Grinch. Another less-than-friendly imposter appears in A Christmas Story, 1983, as a disgruntled mall Santa at Higbee's department store, a real store in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, in the fictional town of Holman, Indiana. Played by Jeff Gillen, Santa is depicted as a larger-than-life figure who terrifies rather than amuses children. Gillen's performance lends credence to the theory that the mall Santa is not quite genuine. Another recent devious mall Santa was played by Billy Bob Thornton in Bad Santa, 2003, a film which gained the normally family-friendly Disney bad press. Tim Horton's stop-action animated musical film, The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993, depicts Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, wanting to become Santa Claus after an accidental visit to Christmas Town. After the mostly well-meaning but totally clueless Halloween Town citizens capture Santa, they then try to take over Christmas with disastrous results. Children are terrified by Jack's Halloween-themed gifts, and the real Santa is almost killed by Oogie Boogie. Santa is voiced here by Ed Ivory, and in the video game spin-offs by Corey Burton. In 2002's The Santa Claus 2, The Mrs. Claus, Scott Calvin, Tim Allen, must leave the North Pole to find a wife, so his number one elf turns a plastic toy into a life-sized robot clone of Calvin to cover for him. The Robo-Santa interprets the rules of Christmas literally, convinces himself that all of the world's children are naughty, and dresses and runs the North Pole like a Latin American dictator, constructing an army of giant toy soldiers. When Calvin returns with his wife, he must defeat his clone to regain control of Christmas. In 2006's The Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause, Martin Short appears as Jack Frost, who is jealous of Santa Claus. He usurps the role from Scott Calvin, turns Christmas into Frostmas, and the North Pole into a Disney-esque tourist resort, and addicts the world's children to toys, which their parents must buy from him. In 2007's Fred Claus, Vince Vaughn plays Santa's jealous older brother, who grows up hating Santa and Christmas. He cons his brother, Paul Giamatti, into giving him a large sum of money for a business deal, in return for which he must come to the pole and help prepare for Christmas. Fred ends up sabotaging his brother by placing all the world's naughty children on the nice list. Meanwhile, another Santa hater, Kevin Spacey, is auditing Santa, looking for excuses to fire him and the elves. When Santa injures his back, Fred must deliver the gifts in order to save Christmas. Other darker imposters have appeared in slasher films, such as the first 3 films of the 5-film Silent Night, Deadly Night series, Santa Claus and Santa's Sleigh, and in the short All Through the House, part of the horror anthology film Tales from the Crypt, 1972, and later remade as Episode 1.2 and directed by Robert Zemeckis for the HBO TV series of the same name. Both versions were inspired by the comic book Tales from the Crypt.